seasoning just comes with time.
It comes with time. It's just going to get more density.
What's up guys and welcome. You're watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start today's video with the latest physique update of none other than our reigning Mr. Olympia champion, Derek Lunsford, courtesy of Hany Rambod and Evogen Nutrition YouTube channel. So Hany Rambod and Derek have finally started to get some workouts in before he steps on that Pittsburgh Pro stage, as he is getting ready to guest post there in about 3 weeks time now. And almost every single one of us is really excited to see his comparison, especially with Nick Walker. Because we all know Nick Walker is going to be in a top-notch shape, as he is going to compete just 1 week after Pittsburgh Pro as the New York Pro. So coming back to Derek. So for this offseason, a major focus will be putting on more density and getting more thickness, especially in his chest and his shoulders area, which was his main criticism at the Olympia 2023, and also focus on getting bigger quads. So as of right now, about 6 months out of the Olympia, Derek is looking extremely lean, given that this is his off-season look. And I have to say he is looking pretty damn massive right now. He is showcasing insane detail in the side of his legs. And this just goes to show us that he isn't messing around. The man is 100% focused and motivated to defend his first Mr. Olympia title in October. So why there is so much difference in Derek's physique front to back? Well, his coach believes that there is a lot of muscle that Derek built on his front side in the recent years. And all that new muscle that needs to mature. And when he gets that density, that maturity, he is going to be able to showcase more detail, more depth. And that is what they are working towards for 2024 bodybuilding season. So will Derek ever have a super striated chest like Hany Rambod has? Well, I have to say that is going to be a no. That is not happening, because none of the other competitors have that quality either. Even Big Ramy in 2020, when he won his first ever Mr. Olympia, which was arguably his best look, even then he did not have a striated chest like Hany Rambod. So that is pretty much determined by genetics. But I have to say Derek can certainly improve, and I'm sure that he will. So Hany seems to be really impressed with Derek's conditioning, and so was Cutler when he saw Derek in FIBO Germany last week.
He needs to match Hany Rambod's striated chest and intercostal.
He knows he needs to improve in the front shots, you
yeah.
know. And I think, you know, the density's coming. I mean, he's getting the work in.
I think
training,
he's what, 29 now or 30?
Yeah, I mean, he's
right
right
about Regan's
that.
age. Him, Regan, and Nick are all about the same age.
Do you know how much he weighs now? What?
I think he said he's 250s.
260?
250s, 260.
He's in great shape.
So this is definitely Derek 2.0 in the making. And with the kind of X-frame and the proportions that Derek have, he is going to be a very, very difficult champion to dethrone, even by Hany Rambod, especially if he is able to improve his physique. Because I truly believe if he can close that gap, just by a little bit in his chest and his shoulders area, he is going to be next to impossible to beat.
But I agree with you. I think there's a lot of fullness that's developing, whereas like seasoning just comes with time.
It comes with time. It's just going to get more density. Also, increasing your weight and the load has a lot to do with it.
You guys also how a veteran like Dexter Jackson and Dennis James really admire Rubiel Mosquera aka Neckzilla after watching him make his pro debut at Prague. And that happened last year. They all insisted on one thing: no picture or videos do him any justice. He is so freaky. He is one of the biggest guys out there. And unless you see him in person, you cannot really comprehend how much of a freak this guy really is. And now that Cutler saw Rubiel in person, he also realized what the hype is all about.
Calves, everything? No.
I couldn't stop looking at him. But the upper body, like, I just couldn't get over the legs, you know? So he was in a T-shirt, but like I said to him, I'd like to see him on stage because, you know, you just can't, you're so overwhelmed by the legs.
So Cutler touched on Rubiel Mosquera on the latest episode of Cutler's Cast, and he compared him to the 90s mass monster, Victor Richards, a guy who was very famous for his size, but he never competed, although he could have if he wanted to. On a side note, back in 2021, there were some false reports about his death, but thankfully he is alive and well. So after watching Rubiel in person, Cutler also saw what the hype is all about.
Really? That big?
Victor
Monster?
Richards.
Ridiculous.
Like Victor Richards big.
Confess that one time you actually competed, you were paid to just compete, you know. They should pay Neckzilla to be in New York to compete, stand next to Nick Walker.
He has to get a visa.
And here is what everyone keeps forgetting. This is just the start of his professional career. He just turned pro like 6 months ago. And the guy is just 28 years old. He has trained with Chris Cormier for a few months only. and he was so impressive that the judges saw him beating Nathan Deisha. And all these guys, like Dexter Jackson, like Dennis James, even Nick Walker, they had him beating Michael Krizo at Prague, and even beating a guy like Nathan Deisha, who has the most IB Pro wins in the current roster of bodybuilding. That is just insane, because he stepped on a pro bodybuilding stage just one day after turning pro. And all these guys thinking that he should have beat Michael Krizo, and when Michael Krizo was a lot better than his Olympia package. That is definitely something, because Michael Krizo is a top 7 guy in the world. So if only Rubiel gets more round in the shoulders, which I'm sure he will, especially as young as he is in the sport, he's gonna take out some very big names this year, and he is gonna be the one to watch out for at the Olympia this year. According to AJ Callie's Instagram, James Hollingshead just hired Stefan, aka Boss of Outlaw, for this upcoming bodybuilding season. So will it be on the same terms as it was with James and Milos for the Arnold Classic prep? Because James himself said that he hired Milos for getting a second opinion. But James himself was calling all the shots, especially when he was close to the competition, especially for the peak week. And it was James who himself said that he isn't one of those athletes who is coachable easily. So as this story develops, we will get more detail. So as of right now, Stefan and Patrick, these are some of the hottest names in terms of the bodybuilding gurus as of right now. Because if you guys think about it, Stefan has now got Nathan, Martin. Both of these guys are Olympia caliber athletes. And for classic physique, he has got 2 very big names, Ors Klashinsky and Wesley Wiesers. So Nathan Deisha was the first big men's open name that went to Stefan for coaching, and more guys are now following. And who knows, Samson might also hire one of these 2 guys. So, James working with Stefan is definitely big news. We haven't seen the best of James, and this might be that magic combination that has been missing for James. And this is what he could be looking for. So James is back to the drawing board, he's back in the off-season, and he's gonna compete sometime later during the year to get his Olympia qualification for 2024. So that pursuit of Olympia qualification 2024, that is now in full swing. A little update on Jeremy Buendia's injury. It has been a really difficult time for him. Cannot imagine how hard it would be when there is a non-stop pain. And if you guys remember, Jeremy has had a bigger and a more terrible injury than this one in the past. He tore his pec while trying to bench a lot of weight. That was back in 2018. And that was a full pec tear. So Jeremy was able to recover from that, and he was also able to make a comeback and compete at the Olympia that year, although he failed to defend his title in 2018. Actually, he dropped down to 4th spot. So that happened 6 years ago, and he took retirement afterwards. He did not compete for 5 long years, and now that his fire of competing is back, he has this major setback. Personally, I believe he took way too much time off from the stage, from competing, and the division evolved a lot in these years. And Jeremy now with this injury, he will have to play catch up, although he can train his upper half. But even that isn't gonna be easy with his 1 foot injured. And this is now Ryan Terry's era, who is gonna try to defend his title for the very first time in his career. Something that Aaron Banks failed to do in 2023. Now that being said, nobody in the history of men's physique division has been able to be as dominant as Jeremy Buendia was when he was the winning champion. Winning 4 titles in a row, that has got to be a very big deal. And keep in mind, he was being coached by Hany Rambod at that time. So just because Jeremy thinks he did not place high at the Olympia 2023, and that happened because he missed his peak, that makes us fans want to see him compete a few more times and bring a package similar to 2017 and see where that kind of look can land him in this era. Personally, I think that 2017 version of Jeremy Buendia, that has got to be one of the most dominant physiques in the men's physique division. And if he can actually bring that look back, he's most probably gonna win the Olympia title again. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.